We have our second game of the night as we have the Western Conference Finals between the Houston Rockets and Los Angeles Lakers. The Los Angeles Lakers won 72 to 50 in a huge blowout performance as LeBron James really showing up in game 1 as well as a surprising 12 points from Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, and Russell Westbrook and James Harden really nowhere to be seen in that game 1. We'll see if the Rockets can bring some momentum into game 2. Big game, was there anything you saw that the Lakers did differently from the Nuggets or the Clippers defensively against Russell Westbrook and Harden? Or was it just one of those games where they both struggle?
It was a game where they both struggled, but it was also LeBron James and Anthony Davis took care of the mismatches that James Harden and Russell Westbrook could not. And that's really going to be the key here in game two is can Russell Westbrook and James Harden find a way to score the ball and not shoot as poorly as they did in game one. Because LeBron James and Anthony Davis will show up. And obviously Caldwell Pope and Kuzma and others stepped up as well for the Lakers in that game one victory.
And on the Lakers side, you got a lot of great performances out of JaVale McGee and Howard on the offensive rebounds. You had Contavious Caldwell Pope have 12 points and really knocking down his 3-point shots. You're probably not going to get that same production out of your bench in game 2. How do you solve that problem with not as much scoring from your bench?
Well, and then, like you said, they're not going to score as much as they did in that first game. I mean, you're not going to get consistency of Caldwell Pope scoring double digits. And when those games happen, that's where the superstars need to step up, like LeBron James and Anthony Davis, as LeBron finishes their quick deuce early.
And LeBron really has had two easier matchups his past two series. He had Lugueris Dort, as we said, against the Thunder. Now he has Daniel House. He's looking for this challenge, but it's going to be tough for him, especially with the undersized team, with really with PJ Tucker as your interior defense. But it's going to be the Rockets' defense that needs to show up on steals, like we saw in that 9-0 run. Do you think how do they replicate that 9-0 run to consist more into the game in the long term, not just the short term?
Well, they're gonna have to get the big man out of the paint as Westbrook with a pull-up three here, no good. They're gonna have to get the big man out of the paint and allow Russ Westbrook to try and do some isolation ball and drive in and finish in the paint, which he's so good at. And they're also gonna need James Harden, like right there, a pull-up three by Harden, no good, but that's off LeBron. It'll stay Rockets ball. They're gonna need to set some screens for James Harden and allow James Harden to have his ISO ball as well.
Oh, and a good pass inside to James Harden, and he'll tie the game at 2. And big game, maybe another move for the Rockets that we haven't seen much, bringing PJ Tucker more into that corner to have the 5-out offense that they usually envision, especially with all their 3-point shooters. It allows the bigs to get out of the paint, but we haven't really seen that much as he stood more in the mid-range area. And a good start there as it's a block by JaVale McGee. They're going to give it into LeBron's hands. No, it's going to be passed back to Avery Bradley. And Russell Westbrook has not had a good start to this game. And Anthony Davis now hits a 3. Good pass by Avery Bradley. A big game. What's been the issue so far in this series with Russell Westbrook?
Avery Bradley's done a fantastic job guarding him as again forces Russell Westbrook to take a tough shot. And it's been, and when Avery Bradley has allowed Westbrook to drive in the lane, Davis throws it down a lot there from LeBron. It's been Davis or McGee or Dwight Howard down low that's just been able to block out the paint and not allow Russ Westbrook to get any easy finishes.
And I think at that point, that's where these are good shots for Russell Westbrook, like that one. He's going to hit those, not at a field goal percentage you like to see, but you know what to expect. And now LeBron dunks it down. No defense showing up for the Rockets right now. You might want to give the ball into James Harden's hands as he hasn't had much opportunity against Danny Green. And Westbrook, ice cold right now. He is struggling out there. And big game with the Rockets struggles at home as they're only 1-3 there. It'd be a risk going down 2-0, especially in blowout fashion. So they got to be careful. And that's a good answer by House, bringing this back to a 4-point game. And timeout Lakers most likely bring some subs. And as we come out of the timeout, teams will have Morris, Howard, both in, as well as Damari Carroll, Austin Rivers, Macklemore, Jeff Green, and Eric Gordon, the full bench for the Rockets. And big game, Caldwell Pope, 12 points in game one. What was he doing very well in game one?
Oh, he had talked about his defense and how he wasn't a great defender, but he started off that game when he first came in with a couple of steals and easy layups. Obviously, he later hit a couple of threes as well. And that's what Caldwell Pope can bring to the table. He's known as a scorer, and he has those games as Austin Rivers drives in there and cuts the lead down to 2 here in the first quarter for the Lakers.
And you see that field goal percentage, 3 for 11 for the Rockets. Yep, only down by 2. That's at least some hope for them, but that was a similar story in game one early. Their poor field goal percentage really cost them, so it's going to take big 3-point numbers for them to beat this team in LA specifically. Oh, Ben McLemore wide open for 3, can hit. And like you talked about, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope's defense, he's guarding the best player off the bench and Eric Gordon for the Rockets. And look at his offensive game he's had so far as he hits his first shot on the fast break. He hit a couple of threes in game one. If he could show up like this, Lakers are going to be hard to beat.
And Austin Rivers answers the layup of his own there after Caldwell Pope was able to get by Rivers and lay one in on the previous Lakers possession. Caldwell Pope drives again. Can't finish that time, though.
And we've seen an interesting career out of Austin Rivers. He's had a lot of opportunities in the NBA, just never really seemed to get that starting point guard job. And now he finds himself as the backup for the Rockets. And he seems to accepted that role, whether it was on the Clippers now or the Rockets. Rockets down by 1 here after the Eric Gordon 3. We'll see if the Lakers can hit their last shot under 5 seconds now. It's in Pope's hand. Spin move in the paint. Can't hit. And Rockets fans should be happy as despite the tough start to this game, the Rockets are only down 13-12 going into the second quarter. And as we come back for the second quarter, the Lakers lead this one 13-12. Big game. Now that we've gone to see these two teams play a full game and a quarter in game two, what do you think numbers-wise the Rockets bench has to be able to beat this Lakers bench by to keep up with the obvious disadvantage at times between the starting lineups?
Well, you'd like to see the Rockets bench with the amount of three-point shooters they have out there, be able to outscore the Lakers bench almost every time that they're out there against each other, by whether it's by 2 points or whether they're able to outscore them by 8 to 10. You just like to see them be able to outscore the Lakers bench, which is known as not being that great.
And I think that shot right there is what you need to do if you're a Rockets defender. You have to force them to take jump shots, otherwise you get fast break opportunities like this. And if it's Kuzma or Howard, they're going to take advantage of you in the paint if they also get 1v1 isolation situations. Rivers, a good pass out to Jeff Green. They tie this game up. And big game, Austin Rivers, 4 points, and I believe a couple assists so far. What's the energy he's bringing to this Rockets team?
Well, he's been a great source of on the offensive end as Kuzma again here, and Kyle Kuzma having himself a good first half here, keeping the Lakers bench out in front, and the Rockets will call timeout.
And for a team like the Rockets, big game where you have your 2 stars who are getting paid a lot of money. They trade Capella, who was on a pretty sizable contract, then signed Covington for a contract. How big is it to just bring in a lot of these veterans on veteran minimum contracts off waivers? And how do they adjust so well, like DeMarre Carroll has, Jeff Green, especially in this Houston atmosphere?
Well, it definitely goes along the lines of trying to win a championship. A lot of these veterans nowadays prefer to get released late in the season if they're on a piss poor team, and they like to sign with these teams that have a chance to make it. And obviously, Mike D'Antoni's system has always been known that the superstars take the majority of the shots and run the show, and that's how it's been with James Harden and Westbrook. LeBron with a field goal there that goes down as a possibility for a 3-point play.
And LeBron will complete that 3-point play. The Lakers lead by 3. We saw Westbrook attack Caruso, scoring his first 2 points of the game. He wants that 1v1 matchup once again, despite struggling in the first quarter. He's going to shoot a 3. He is really struggling in this series from the 3-point line. He went 1 for 7 in game 1 and is yet to make one in game 2. And LeBron, once again, dominating his matchup with House or Covington, depending on the switch. And he finally hits one. 2 for 10 from the field, big game. He's replicated his performance from the first half of game 1. Are you surprised by this?
Well, like we talked about in game 1, we know Westbrook is a volume scorer, and he does have games like this where he can't get buckets to go down. But Westbrook not afraid to continue to fire away as he fires away another 3 here.
And that field goal percentage only will rise right now as the Lakers take a 6-point lead, and they're shooting over 61% in this game.
And Caruso now with the last 4 for the Lakers.
And Westbrook's going to take another shot. And I think you can respect Russell Westbrook taking these shots, but maybe you'd like to see a little bit of ball movement out of this team. Eric Gordon now takes a quick 3. And there has been little to no passing in this second quarter. And Anthony Davis fouled, but will go to the line. And under 2 minutes here in the second quarter, Lakers lead 28-20. And the ball will continue to be in Russell Westbrook's hands and not James Harden. And Harden's going to get his opportunity for a 1v1 on Green. Can't finish. The Rockets offense really falling apart on isolations. And you look at the rebounding game, big game, it doesn't feel like the Lakers are really, oh my, and LeBron wants to silence this Rockets team as he gives them a 10-point lead. It really hasn't felt like there's been an offensive rebounding discrepancy. It's just been all these misses off jump shots have caused the Lakers to have a lot of rebounds.
Well, and you're seeing now the Lakers just tearing apart the Rockets in the second quarter. You really got to question what the field goal percentage right now is in this quarter for the Rockets because they are really struggling, and if they don't get some more buckets here before halftime here, they could be in big trouble heading into the second half.
You know, it's just been really sad. The bench put in a lot of effort to keep this game close, even tying the game for this starting lineup, yet the shot selection just hasn't been there. That's finally a field goal that goes down, and only James Harden's second field goal of the game. Bradley's going to drive in, and his playoff run, unbelievable offensively and defensively. His X factor, him being an X factor for the Lakers, has really allowed them to dominate the Western Conference so far. And another miss for Westbrook, 2 for 14. And that'll be about 0.8 differential on the shot clock as LeBron James on fire in this first half. He is just driven through this Rockets defense like it's nothing. Harden and ISO with Pope. Seems like he's going to have to take a three. Pope in his face. Very deep. Can't hit. 36-22 will be the score going at halftime. Very high scoring for the Lakers as their field goal percentage is on the rise. As we head into our halftime show, it seems the Lakers are repeating Game 1's performance. Anthony Davis hasn't really had to do much as LeBron James, 15 points, 3 rebounds, and big game, like you said, that field goal percentage in the second quarter, very rough as they are down to 32% in the game. And the rebounding game really is because of that differential. It's not like there's been issues with offensive rebounds. Fast break finishes, giving the Lakers a 67% field goal percentage has been the issue. What's your input on the first half big game?
First half, it's really just that second quarter. You know, it was pretty close after the first quarter, but the second quarter, the Rockets just shot so poorly, and the Lakers took advantage of every missed shot. And LeBron obviously stepped up as 15, and the Lakers, who have scored a very high amount ever since that first round match against the Blazers, they really pounded the Thunder. And here in Game 1, they pounded the Rockets, and they're looking to put up another crooked number here in Game 2.
And as we're back for the second half in Los Angeles, 36-22, all Lakers so far. And big game, Anthony Davis hasn't had to do much. He hit that three-pointer to start the game, and he's had a alley-oop and a few finishes from the free throw line, but he hasn't really had to have any offensive possessions where it's Anthony Davis, do your work in the post or anything. And how surprising has that been?
Well, it's a pretty big factor for the Lakers, or I should say a pretty good factor to not have Anthony Davis playing, you know, his A game, really, as he follows Covington there. And for them to be winning, they won Game 1 big, and obviously winning big in Game 2. You know, it's a pretty good sign for the Lakers.
And big game, if the Rockets want to try and fix their offensive struggles, what's it going to take?
Well, they're going to need Russ Westbrook or James Harden to really get, you know, cooking. Even if Eric Gordon can knock down some shots, they just need some sort of offense. Ball movement, you know, we talked about that as Westbrook comes down to double Davis here.
And a good start out of the Houston D, but then they allow an offensive rebound. The one thing that didn't go too badly is they only allowed one offensive rebound in the first half, but now it's going to be an and one, and Davis can send this to a 17-point lead. And big game, we see a lot of high assist numbers for James Harden and Russell Westbrook, but in the playoffs, we really haven't seen that aspect of their game. Is there anything differently that has resulted in their low assist numbers?
You just got to think that Westbrook and Harden have been trying to take advantage of the isolation plays, and obviously it hasn't panned out for them. So maybe in Game 3 when they head back home, where they've struggled at home in this playoffs, you hope maybe some more ball movement, maybe the home atmosphere will help them out. But so far in these first 2 games, they've just been blown out by the Lakers. With Davis, an offensive rebound, throws down, and also Anthony Davis coming alive here in this third quarter, really trying to put this game really out of reach.
And I think the only way the Rockets are going to keep up in this game is they really got to rely on the three-point ball even more than usual at this point, or the star power of Russell Westbrook and James Harden. But it's going to take some drives more than threes for Russell Westbrook. Well, it's going to take threes for the rest of the team. Oh, and LeBron James, rare miss in the paint in this game. Good defense out of the Rockets. And here comes Russell Westbrook. Makes a little close shot there from 5 to 6 feet. And Lakers timeout here. Big game, what does Frank Vogel see right there?
You might be looking to bring in some early subs to keep LeBron and Anthony Davis fresh for the fourth quarter if the Rockets are able to make a run here.
And it seems you're right, as we'll see the full bench of the Lakers. Well, we're going to see the Rockets. Interesting lineup, big. Oh, no, we're going to see Anthony Davis stay in, though, for the Lakers. But the Rockets are going to elect to keep in their whole starting lineup except bringing Eric Gordon for House. Big game, is that to try and cut into this deficit in the third quarter?
Well, yeah, that's bringing out all the offense you have. As Davis yet again with the mismatch of Westbrook on him, knocks down a jumper over him. Davis up to 14 points, and the majority of those coming here in this third quarter.
Westbrook in the paint, can't finish again, gets offensive rebound. Eric Gordon does, and he'll be fouled. And free throws might be key for the Rockets as well to try and stop the clock and slowly cut into this lead. Big game if you're the Rockets. What's the key number to try and cut into this deficit by the end of the third quarter, as we're halfway through right now?
Well, we've seen some big comebacks in games in fourth quarters with teams down by as many as 15, 17 points. But to really feel comfortable, you got to keep it around that 10-point mark, in my opinion. That's my mark. If you can get it to around the 10, 11, 12-point mark, going into the fourth quarter and start off the fourth quarter, hot and get it to, around 6 points with 3 minutes left, you're looking pretty good.
Another good defensive possession by the Rockets. Westbrook has Rondo on him. He goes into the paint. He misses a wide open lefty layup. And his struggles continue. And here comes Caruso. Fast break dominance for Caruso in game 2. And big game with the Rockets bench mostly being absent in this game in the third quarter. They're going to be relied upon to play the entire fourth quarter, it'll look like, until about the 2-minute marker to bring back in the starters if the game's still close. So this could be a tough situation if you're a Rockets fan. And we'll see both full benches come in as Anthony Davis will sub out as well.
Rockets are going to have to go on a run now.
And they've really been forcing the Lakers to take a lot of jump shots, and that's their one chance in the series to force jump shots and create a fast break, and that's a good start there. Jeff Green scores, 12-point game. Big game. The bench brought the Rockets back between the first quarter and the second quarter. Do you think they can cut into this lead once again against the Lakers bench?
No, it's always a possibility. You know, if they can continue to force tough shots like they have here in the third quarter, there's always the opportunity for it. But they're going to need some stop scores. That's not going to help as Caldwell Pope drills a three there.
And it's just been these key plays by Caruso, Caldwell Pope, or Kuzma. They may not have the big scoring numbers, but they've hit a shot when it's counted, and the Lakers bench has really stepped up. And DeMarre Carroll, though, offensive rebound score. 33.6 seconds left. Each team should get 2 shots in the quarter. And we'll see how much time the Lakers will use up on their possession. Oh, Kuzma for 3. Can't hit. And Rockets ball. Under 20 seconds left. Should be the last shot of the quarter. Under 10. Eric Gordon wants isolation against Rondo. Way deep 3. Tries to bank it in.
And banks it in.
And that's how the quarter will end. 50-37, Lakers lead going into the fourth quarter. And our State Farm assist of the game as we are back for the fourth quarter. LeBron James, alley-oop to Anthony Davis. It seems like there's one every single game. You see these two stars on the court, and there's another one for your books. Lakers ball to start the fourth. And we're going to see LeBron James out there probably for most of the fourth quarter as he was well rested in the third quarter. Avery Bradley for 3. Can't hit. And big game, if you're this Rockets bench, how are you going to come back when LeBron James is still in this game?
No, you got to hope for some LeBron James misses. His quick foul there by Dwight Howard. You got to hope for some LeBron James poor plays, misses, and maybe you can get Eric Gordon or Covington open on a couple threes. There's 3 for Gordon, and this lead is down to 10.
And this is going to be a very small lineup here. See, DeMarre Carroll is registered at center for the Rockets. And as you can see there, Covington just watches as LeBron James drives right past the entire Rockets team. And you saw there, Eric Gordon's actually leading the Rockets in scoring right now. And the fact that they're only down by 12 and both their stars haven't done much says a lot for the effort that's been put in by this Rockets bench. Oh! And LeBron James just posterized Covington, sending him to the ground. He's shooting 91% in Game 2. Big game, you said he dominated in the conference finals, but this might be a new level of domination right now.
Well, and I think you can start to say, we've seen Giannis in that top 3 MVP conversations. Obviously, Russ Westbrook played well in the first rounds, but I think you're seeing LeBron James enter into this MVP conversation with how he's played in these first 2 games. Absolutely dominating the Rockets. And now with a couple of posterizers here.
And big game, I think you're on point with that. Giannis has played very consistently in these playoffs, and he earned that spot. But now LeBron James, he really, when he's had a low scoring game, he's put in the rebound and assist numbers. So he could easily come into the conversation for top 3, especially if Russell Westbrook continues his poor performances in game 1 and 2 like he has. And what can Avery Bradley do right now for the Lakers? He goes right through the defense, all the hands over him, and he still finishes. And the Rockets will call another timeout. We'll see if they bring out any of their starting lineup. We'll see James Harden out there and Russell Westbrook. Westbrook for three, can't hit. And he's really been stuck in this game. And big game the last time Russell Westbrook and James Harden, the fact that they were in the finals was against LeBron James and the Miami Heat. So how much of this is a revenge type game from earlier in their careers?
Well, I don't think that's a revenge game. I think it's more or less, for James Harden, you had Chris Paul and you made it to the conference finals a couple of times. Uh, you know, Obviously Paul got hurt the one year that the Rockets felt that they probably should have won it, but they also, blew that opportunity with a couple of missed threes. Obviously Kevin Durant got hurt the one year and they couldn't close that out. And so they're looking to make it take that next step, make it to the finals this year. But obviously they've run into a pretty tough Lakers squad who, in this no center lineup for the Rockets, playing against JaVale McGee and Anthony Davis and LeBron James. Pretty tough matchup for the Rockets, and it's proven itself here in these first two games. They've closed up all driving lanes for James Harden and Russell Westbrook, and they've obviously made Russell Westbrook into a shooter, and so far he has not been able to put together a game like he did in one of the first two series.
And it's really disappointing for the Rockets. This was a winnable game with how your bench came out and some of your other factors in this game, but this shooting by Russell Westbrook, it seems like they've given him the chance to shoot, but they're starting to learn exactly where he's shooting. And LeBron just continues to dominate this game, and he should silence the Rockets on that, as it's a 23-point lead. But Russell Westbrook has had a lot of open threes, but Avery Bradley or Danny Green, when guarding him, have done a great job at least getting a hand up there when the time is right. And that's a rare finish in the paint for James Harden. And big game if you're Rockets, going home down 2-0. We see oftentimes in the playoffs a dominant home team can come back, tie series, but this Houston Rockets team kind of obscure. They're 1-3 on their home court in the playoffs and are the 6th seed in the West. And you could see that frustration coming out by PJ Tucker arguing with the refs on the call. How do they bring that a different tone at home in game 3 after these two very poor performances by their stars?
Well, you'd have to guess that Russell Westbrook and James Harden at home will come out and really shine. It'll be tough for the Lakers to continue to contain both of them like they have in these first two games. It's very rare that you see both Russell Westbrook and James Harden struggle uh, on the same night, let alone two nights in the playoffs. So I think you'll see them going strong. It's been known for James Harden to kind of disappear in playoff series. So you hope that maybe he can come out and have a really good game at home in Game 3 to try and keep the Rockets in it. And we've seen two before in conference finals. The Rockets have gone down 2-0 multiple times, but they've come back very strong on their home court. So we'll see if that can continue.
And not only that big game, we've seen the Rockets do pretty well on a tough opposing court when the Warriors had some of the best teams ever. So you'd think if they could take on some of those teams on the road, they should be able to handle the Lakers on the road and make it more of a competitive game, but we just haven't had that so far in the series. And that'll cut it down to 28. Lakers should be taking this possession slowly as it will probably be their last in the game. Oh, JaVale McGee takes a fadeaway post move. And the Rockets, under 10 seconds, might dribble it out or they'll get a shot up. We shall see. And Austin Rivers will take a three. He hits. Austin Rivers, 5 points in garbage time, but he had a good first half for the Rockets to keep it close, but not enough as the Lakers will win 66-51. And they take a commanding 2-0 series lead going into Houston. And big game as we head into the post-game show. I think it's without little question that LeBron James is the player of this game. 24 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists. He misses 1 shot in the game. And Anthony Davis, we didn't really think he needed to do much in this game after not a really quiet first half, but he came out there, 18 points, 11 rebounds. Great combination between those two. And what can you say about Avery Bradley? Despite shooting 2 for 7, he really pinned down Russell Westbrook and probably made him have one of his worst performances in the playoffs. Anything else on the Lakers side, big game?
Well, I mean, it just speaks volume to what you're saying. It's going to be very hard to stop the Lakers when Anthony Davis and LeBron James put up numbers like they did tonight. Usually we see one of the two really have a nice game, and then, the other one will put in a couple points. But tonight you see LeBron James with 24 and 4, and Anthony Davis with 18 and 11. Both had monster nights, and it's going to be hard for the Rockets to be able to win a game in the series if LeBron James and Anthony Davis put up those kind of numbers.
And we go over to the Rockets side. Wow, big game. We don't expect to see this. Eric Gordon scores 11 points, and he just seemed like he needed to shoot 10 shots like that. He did a good job from the three-point line, making both of his free throws. And Austin Rivers, we know that 5 of those points were in garbage time, but he still had a great game, and the fact that he's outscoring James Harden, Russell Westbrook with the minutes they played is inexcusable. I don't know that we've seen a worse performance in the playoffs. 3 for 22. And somehow he only has a minus 24 plus or minus. The same as James Harden. I don't even know what to say about that. And I'm sure the critics are going to have a heyday with him after this game. What's your input on the Rockets in game 2?
Well, we saw Russell Westbrook in that first series shoot 1 of 10 one night from three-point land, but shoot 1 of 11 and then shoot, to 3 of 22 from the floor, just unacceptable for a superstar like Russell Westbrook. And James Harden can be in that category too, to only shoot 3 of 7, and both go minus 24 in the plus-minus differential. And but Austin Rivers, a nice game for Austin Rivers. As you said, a couple of those points in garbage time, but he had a plus 10 in plus minus, and was 4-4 from the floor, and he led the team in scoring with Eric Gordon.
And we'll take one final look at the team comparison. The three-point shooting just not there for Houston. And the field goal percentage just is a reflection of how great the Lakers defense has been. And big game, do you think Houston can adjust to this Lakers defense in game 3 on their home court? Because they haven't been able to in game 1 or 2.
I think that we'll see a lot better Rockets team come out in game 3. Here in LA, we've seen them very, very much struggle. And how they contain Anthony Davis or LeBron James, that's to be determined. But the Lakers have had an answer for Russ Westbrook and James Harden. But I think James Harden and Russ Westbrook on their home court will come out firing in game 3 and should play a lot better to avoid going down 3-0 here in this Western Conference Finals.
That's going to do it for the conference finals for tonight, as The Lakers take a 2-0 lead after a 66-51 victory on their home court. That's all we have for tonight. Thank you for joining us.